right away, right to high school, or so right into Caterpillar, working third shift, working as much overtime as I can. Quickly became one of the top producers on that boom line. If you know anything about Caterpillar or welding in general, like at Caterpillar, the important lines to be on was a boom and stick line, and there's some other lines too. But in my building, it was a boom and stick line, and the reasoning was it was the most overtime. So I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And I got slotted there because of my skills as a welder. They like, "Wow, this kid can weld. Let's go." So I go there. Almost instantly, I learned the ropes from the day shift nerd, and he teaches me, and whatever, cool. I start coming in at third shift and just start kicking ass, just outproducing guys to the point where like they showed ratios on a clipboard. And kind of kept people like competing, which is W2 shit 101. Now that I know. So I was always competing with these guys. These guys, oh man, slow down. You're making us look bad. I'm like, well, no shit, dude. That was the idea. So that was Caterpillar. Did that for a year. I get a call one day. Hey man, come down to local 461. We need to talk. And I was like, is this good news or bad news? Like, well, what? Yeah, it's good news, dummy. Get down here. Why the fuck would I call you for bad news? So in so many words, right? So I get down there and like, hey man, time to start working as an electrician. Fucking cool. It's my lifelong dream. So I worked there for 3 years, and work starts drying up. And long before that, backtracking, so that's 2005 I start, which is a year to the day. So again, back to my dates. June 15th, 05, start working there, and pretty quickly realized, like, this is not what I signed up for. I worked 40 hours for maybe the first year, 18 months. And after that, if you guys are doing some following along here, that's 2006, 2007 comes along. What happens in 2008? Housing market collapses, right? Well, coming up to that, other people started noticing and started slowing down home constructions. I was working for a small shop called E1 Electric, and we started sharing time about a year and a half before anybody else did. And sharing time means that I'm not getting a full 40 hours of work. I'm getting 24 this week, 40 the next week, 24 this week, 32 the next week. Never 40 hours. I didn't average 40 hours that entire year. So for a whole fucking year, I'm like, man, this is bullshit. It's not what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to make all this money. I'm looking, doing the young, dumb kid shit. I bought a truck, and I'm, spending my raise before I get it. And then all of a sudden I'm losing hours. I was like, what the fuck, So long story short, I ended up going to apply to be a lineman apprentice because a friend of mine was dating somebody, and it was a chick friend of mine dating a guy. His friend was a lineman. So he's like, hey man, linemen make a lot more money. They're kind of doing what you're doing. Very similar. You should apply to go be a lineman. Cool. So we took that. It was at a bar in Salmonac, Illinois, Rambo's. Take the information on a cocktail napkin, grab it, go home, get on the internet, fill out the application, apply for it. Well, I get a call, said, hey, I had to go interview actually. Yeah, I get a call, go interview on this date. Cool, interview. And I don't hear nothing for 6 months. Then I get a packet in the mail, a big fucking manila envelope basically saying you've been accepted to attend introductory training in Medway, Ohio. It starts on April 7th was the start date. It was a 3-week course. Well, this is April of 2008. In May of 2008, I'm set to graduate and become a journeyman electrician. So here I am, 2 years, 11 months into a 3-year apprenticeship, a month away from becoming a journeyman. And I'm like, something ain't right. I'm taking this opportunity. So I go in, tell 461, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to go take this up and take 3 weeks off. I'm going to miss 3 classes. If I've got a spot when I get back, great. If not, fuck your face. I'm out of here. And they're like, what are you doing? This is a dumb move. Just finish out your thing and then go do that. And it doesn't work that way. If All Bat calls you, and All Bat's the name of the apprenticeship, American Line Builders and Training Apprenticeship, if they call you, you go. So I went. And I went 3 weeks, kicked ass, finished it, and direct placement into the apprenticeship in the local 196. Never looked back. Now this is April, so pretty much, call it April 30th, May 1st, I start at MJ Electric at local 196. Start working. So May, June, July, everybody I worked with got laid off. Everybody. To a fucking screeching halt if you remember 2008's housing market collapse. Screeching halt, everyone's laid off. Here I am working more hours I've ever worked in my fucking life because of storm work. Power lines don't care if the economy's bad. Power lines get blown down, we're going to work. I worked more fucking overtime that summer than I had my whole life. All those guys called me an idiot. All those guys who laughed at me and told me I was a dumb young kid. What are you doing? Hey, Tony, they got any more spots over there? Nah, man, we're full. Beat it. So that was my introductory to the apprenticeship. And then I whole other life story. I don't want to get into it too deep here, but that's how I started as a lineman. 2008, became a journeyman 2012. And then, ended up leaving the trade completely in August of 2022 when I made the switch to be a financial advisor. That's how it went down. A lot of cool shit happened as a lineman, though. A lot of cool shit. I'll have Ace pull up my Instagram. There's a pretty cool scene of me hanging off a helicopter. That's probably the highlight of my career. Not that like most accomplished, but the most fun. That job in Concord, California, hanging off a helicopter was super badass. So, but yeah, that's kind of my lineman career. And then like, as I'm a lineman and I was making great money, like that's not get twisted. Linemen make very good money. I was making average between $250 and $350 a year for a good 6-7 years. I made a lot of money, but it's all hourly. So what does that mean if I'm making a lot of money? A lot of hours. I get my retirement statement every year and I'd see 4,000 hours worked, 4,000 hours, 3,900, 3,800. Man, you know how many hours that is? 2,000 hours is 40 hours a week for a year. So 4,000 hours is going to be 80 hours a week for a year, average. That's what I was doing for way too long and got burnt out, got to a spot where like, hey man, what in the fuck can I go do with the education that I have, which is welder, electrician, lineman, and go make the money I need to support my family and to go on? Nah, not too many things out there. So I was a client of Northwestern Mutual. Started talking to my agent. Like, hey, can I just come bringing you like some like clients? Can I bring you like a side hustle? Can I help you? You know? She's like, yeah, let's try it. We tried that and pretty quickly figured out. She's like, dude, you just got to go do this. Just go do it. You'll be good at it. It's okay. So she puts my information in and Northwestern Mutual reaches out to me and they're like, hey, love to have you. Let's interview. So it was like 10 or 15, what it felt like 10 or 15 different phone calls and Zoom calls and never-ending vetting process. What do you want to do this? Why do you want to do it? Why do you think you can? All this shit. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I can do this. And finally I get a call. Hey, can you meet for coffee down in Castle Rock? I'm working in Greeley, Colorado. So if you know Greeley, Colorado to Castle Rock, Colorado is a fucking drive, about an hour and a half. So I was working. We had a car versus pole, wait for switching. So I tell my crew, hey, you guys prep this out, go get the material, be sitting on go. We got 3 hours of switching that the power company has to do. We're going to go frame the pole, sitting on go, dig the hole, fuck off, right? Cool. I'll be right back, guys. So I did. Go jam down there, have coffee, and that's when I got the meeting. Like, hey, this is what you can make. This is what we think you're going to make. When can you start? I was like, man, holy shit. I didn't think this is one of those meetings. I thought it was a meeting of like another one of these, like, what would you do in this scenario meetings? Or what would you tell me a time when you overcome adversity type fucking meeting, right? One of those things. And it wasn't. It was like, hey, when can you start? I was like, well, shit, now I'm on the spot. This is in June, late June, maybe July. Like, hey, well, we have a class starting in August. We have a class starting in October. I'm like, well, let's do August. I don't want to drag this out any more than I have to. Like in my career, thinking about something besides work can get you hurt or killed. So like, let's speed this up. Let's go. So I did. Background check, documents, fucking never ending nightmare. I had a fake ID charge when I was 20 years old for a beer at Buffalo Wild Wings. The night Rich Franklin fought Anderson Silva the first time, October of 2006, I believe it was. And see if the fucking dates. That's it. Not going to get one past me. So I had to dig up that paperwork and find that from a police department that was very uncooperative. Different state. I live in Colorado. I was in Illinois. So long story short, a lot of little things like that kept popping up. Like, hey, how about this? How about that? How about that? Like, what the fuck? So instead of wasting my time and doing all the training and the licensing, because I'm like, this may not even fucking happen, I waited until the last minute. That test was scheduled for a Friday. I get the equivalent to like a clear to close for real estate. I got the clear to close Monday night. You're good. Just get licensed. Cool. Crack open the book Tuesday morning, and it says, this will take you 50 hours to complete. I'm like, oh, shit. So I studied for 3 days, passed test on Friday. So, and people I tell to get licensed now, I tell them that story. Like, oh, I did it in 3 days, guys. So it can be done in 3 days. I wouldn't recommend it. I stressed the fuck out, lost some hair, got some more gray hair. But I started working at Northwestern Mutual, man, and it just blew the fuck up. And I credit that just to, I did a hard job for a long time as a lineman. This shit's easy. Like, it's easy. It's not all that easy, but compared to a bad day as a lineman, this is easy work. So perspective is huge, man. So like, nothing here, this job doesn't hurt. It can't hurt me, right? So like, it was so easy to just go in there and do well, because like the things people complain about, people hanging up on you, people saying no, people ghosting you, like, the fuck is that? Like, what is that? It doesn't matter to me. Didn't matter to me one bit. So like, I just had tough skin and kept going. And long story short, from October, November, and December's business, 3 months of business, I placed 7th place in the entire network for the entire year of 2022. So 3 months of business, top 10 in the network, 7th place, and pretty close to coming in higher than that, but had some cases not pass, whatever. The next 6 months, kill it. And I'm in first place the entire year of 2023. I was in first place with my network. It was me and the managing partner, everybody else below me. But along the way, the honeymoon ends because I go on my first podcast. And they kind of like, hey, man, take it down. Call us tomorrow, but take it down today. After it was up for about a month. And it was killing it, man. It was Day 1, $0 was the name of the podcast, locally here in Colorado. Will Grimes, Eli Schmidt. Will's actually my coach now, too. And it was killing it. And it was a great episode. It was like 2 hours long. It was 5 minutes of non-compliance that I just fucked up and said some wrong things I didn't mean to say. Just like about 401ks and just some certain things. I just didn't know any better. Nah, take it down. What they didn't like was the fuck, the shit, the cocksucker, the way I talk. They didn't like that. So maybe take it down. And then I was like, oh, I see how you guys are now. Like, you guys like the results, but you don't like my process. That's not going to work. It's not going to work now, and it's not going to work 5 years from now. So I was a little poopy. As you know, as a lineman goes, I got the red ass pretty quick from those guys. So, unbeknownst to me, a gentleman over here at Penn Mutual sees me on that podcast. And long story short, he recruits me based on what he sees and what he hears about me. We have a pretty cool call. Cold calls me. I set up a meeting. We start talking, and the rest is history. I mean, I'm over here at Penn Mutual now, and these guys are super supportive. They heard about this podcast. How can we help? Give it some time. We'll help support it financially. All the cool shit you want to hear when someone says they support you. And they meant it. So kudos to them. Northwestern fucked up is what it is. I just don't fit their mold. Kudos to them. They're a great company. Nothing wrong with them, but just wasn't for me. Not a great fit for me. I never felt welcome there. They tried, but man, the way I look, this is what I would wear to work. And I'd get the looks, and, I wasn't going to wear their suit and tie. I don't need to. My clients don't need that from me. They didn't get it. So Penn's like, hey, we see you. We're going to help you. We don't want you to change. We want you to be more like you, and we're going to help you be more like you. So kudos to Penn. I cannot thank them enough. I don't want to use their name in case they any reasons not to use it. I don't know. Maybe I'll shout them out in the future, but they know who they are. They're awesome. They help me out. They're behind me 100%. They tell me cool shit like they'd never seen anything like it before. They like watch it from afar. They like I'm kind of an industry disruptor, man, without bragging. That's what they've said. They like seeing that shit because the task or this job can get boring. And if you're overseeing people like me, or it can get boring to oversee those people, in comes me who's not boring. And I've got clients from all walks of life, from entrepreneurs to strippers to, linemen. Like people in this industry don't get to talk to those kinds of people. And I do. And they love it. So they like hearing about that. The cars, the Lambos, the McLarens, like they don't do that shit, right? So they're digging it. I'm digging it. It's been a great fit so far. That's like my little story. It kind of rambled on for a while, but man, that's how I got to where I'm at, man. And this office, thank you, Penn Mutual. They helped me out get the office. And now it's a dual purpose. Now it's a podcast studio and it's an office for my day job. And it works out really well. So what else, Ace?
Speaking of your industry, life insurance, what are some common misconceptions you're seeing from certain people or certain things on social media?
Yeah, most people think life insurance is for like when you get old, if you got a family, or if you're rich, if you're poor. Like nobody really knows why they should get it or why they shouldn't get it, but they'll listen to some dickhead online rambling about it, and he's wrong, right? So it's like it all depends. A lot of misconceptions, a lot of Dave Ramsey nerds out there that are all about what he's doing, and we kind of go against that. But I don't know. There's a lot of things out there that are just misinformation. And what I've found too is like there's different products out there, and everybody who pushes a certain product has a motive why to push that product. What I've found is just the formula, and this is what I'm going to push, right? So, but when you're inside the industry, you see why certain people push certain things, and it's kind of disturbing. I kind of hate it, but I'm the anti-suit, I'm the anti-industry guy, and I'm just here to disrupt a little bit,
Speaking of, one of the people you don't necessarily hate but don't like too much is Dave Ramsey. Dive into him a little bit more.
Dave Ramsey, what a dork. So I don't hate him personally. I don't know him personally. I never met the man. I would not want to meet the guy. But he pushes this agenda of pay off all your debt, have no bills, and live a frugal lifestyle and just, minimalistic, right? Don't buy a house till you can buy it for cash. Don't buy a car till you can buy it for cash. It's just unrealistic. And when you do those things, all you're doing is giving up your youth, your prime of your life, to maybe enjoy your retirement. Maybe. And I say maybe because, like, the way he's got you building your retirement's not going to amount to what you think it's going to, and then you're supposed to live this nice, minimalistic life in retirement. If you make it, man, what if you fucking die, you hit by a bus? We'll probably have a train come by soon. What if you hit by a train? All that, you give up your fucking prime of your life to live like a bum, and then all of a sudden you're gone. Like, what the fuck is that? What are you leaving behind? Nothing. So, I don't know. I don't agree with his whole philosophy, and his math is wrong when it comes to like the stock market things he talks about. He's just flat out wrong. The things he talks about with life insurance, he's wrong. He pushes term insurance. I think he sells term insurance. Don't quote me on that, but I think he sells term life insurance. So he pushes that. He sells books. He sells clickbait. That's what he sells. He sells friction. He's like Stephen A. Smith of like finance, right? Stephen A. Smith, if you watch him on ESPN, he's very good at what he does. What he does is stir up shit and says controversial things, animated. There's currency being Stephen A. Smith. I used to hate him, but now I got what Stephen A. is doing. That's all Dave Ramsey's doing. So I don't hate him. I just think he's wrong. And I just disagree with his plan. What I don't like is he's convincing poor people to stay poor. But he's convincing poor people to stay poor by convincing poor people they're going to get rich. And that bugs me. That's not going to happen. So that bugs me a lot about him. Again, personally, he's a little goofball. He looks a little funny, but I don't hate him. He's just not my kind.
Yep. That's why this podcast is here. We're here to clear up the misconceptions.
We're going to show you some different ways to make money, different ways to invest, different scenarios. And I don't know of top of my head one single podcast guest that I'll have that will be a Dave Ramsey fan. I don't know anybody who's rich, anybody who has any money that agrees, oh yeah, Dave Ramsey is how I got here. I know a lot of wealthy people. I have a lot of clients. Not a single person that said, oh yeah, I owe it all to Dave. Uncle Dave's what got me here. I'm not a single person. Online, I get the trolls, but that's it. They're just fucking trolls, you know? Like, if they're busy